Peekaboo, I'm here. My broom is out, and the Cubs absolutely dominated the San Francisco Giants, and Matthew and I are here to talk about it.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, Cubs fans. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. We are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thank you to all our everydayers who listen or watch us all year long, from the regular season to the off season, and right now, the push to the playoffs. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Break out the brooms. Seiya Suzuki with the bases loaded, 2 out, bases clearing double to the wall in the bottom of the first inning, and the Cubs never looked back en route to a 8-2 win over the Giants for a sweep. Cubs improved to 76 and 64, still firmly in the second wild card spot. 1.5 games back in the Phillies for the first wild card spot, and now they are also 1.5 back in the Brewers for the first place in the NL Central. Sam, you got the broom out, and it's much deserved for the Cubs to dominate it on Wednesday.
I can't even begin to describe what a tremendous performance this was this weekend. I also have a fork here because I was eating right before it. I'd like to stick a fork at the Giants because they will not be catching our Chicago Cubs ball club. I don't know where do we start, Matt?
Sure.
Do we start with the fact that I cashed in my over this afternoon?
Let's definitely get to it. Yeah,
a 75.5. It's now 76 with 22 baseball games left.
It's a lot of games.
Or do we talk about Jordan Wicks, who out of nowhere not only has become an asset and a contributor to our ball club, but a guy that I feel really good about when he takes the ball?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about Seiya Suzuki for the third time in 3 days on this show as he continues to lift this club and say, hey, fellas, early in the year, you needed to pick me up. Hop on my back, and I'm going to take you to October. Or do we just go back to the normal? Do we just go back to the normal routine? Another homer and another double for Bellinger.
Right.
I mean,
there's options.
You're the EP, man. So you choose. You're back and you're the EP. I'm here to talk about any of it. Or do we talk about how Gabe Kapler used 67 pitchers in two ball games?
There's certainly that element as well. A little bit comical by the end of that game on Wednesday from the Giants. As I think you could get out all the silverware for them at this point. You know, there's been a lot of highlights from this stretch, obviously, and we're going to break some of that down in a couple minutes. But, you know, this game had it all once again. And I do think we can start with Wicks. Okay. 2.16 ERA and 16 and 2/3 innings so far. He went 6 2/3, allowed 9 hits, but no walks on Wednesday. And I was thinking 5 innings, 3 runs or less, which is what he's done his first 2 starts. Nope. Pitches into the 7th, 90 pitches. Hottovy goes out there. He says, hey, you got 2 guys left. You got this one time through the order, finish it. He almost did that. He came out when the third time came up with the leadoff man there, Estrada, and Ross pulled him for Palencia. But just an outstanding job by Wicks to pace the team. When this team gets an early lead now, the way that the starting pitching has gone with Assad and Wicks, especially as people that have emerged that you didn't think about back on March 30th. Obviously, Steele and Hendricks have big places on this club. But the amount of work that Wicks has done in this short stint has been nothing short of impressive. And I have to say this publicly. He is a filthy I have changeup. I have not seen a changeup like this since potentially the George H.W. Bush administration.
And who featured that changeup? Or is that too
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, Tom Glavine.
Maddox.
Listen, not only was Wicks spectacular today, and I felt good about this outing. I placed a little coin on it because the Giants have really struggled against left-handers all season. But the 2 runs he gave up, those are 2 runs in the box score. But he gave up those 2 runs because he was up 7, 8 runs. Mm-hmm. So he's just like, hey, I'm not going to walk people. I'm going to throw strikes. And that's what's going to happen. Right. I think we have seen from his last 2 starts that the first start was an aberration in terms of strikeouts. He's not that type of strikeout pitcher. Mm-hmm. He is more of a pitch to contact guy, which is fine. But again, we sat here, or I think I sat. I don't remember if you were with me or not. It's all a blur at this point. But after that, when we were going into that, after that Royal series, going into Detroit, and Smiley was pitching, and I was very concerned about the rotation. And the rotation has now become the best part of this club. Steele's pitching great. Hendricks has been fine. I would even say above average if the wind's not blowing out to solid. Assad has been just an absolute blessing to this franchise. And now Jordan Wicks has come on, and he's been really good. The only guy not pitching is the only guy making any money. And that's
right.
And that's Tyone. And then the other guy making a bunch of money is not even in the rotation. But it's really great to see. And these wins are so big, guys. Not only, you heard about me, moan all year about, hey, close games. Well, now these blowouts actually have value because you save the bullpen. You don't have to use any high leverage guys. I don't know if we're going to talk about it later, but they brought up Little, who looked, really nasty in today's game and could be an asset if Brandon Hughes can't get off the IL. But, no Leiter today, no Merriweather today, no Owsley today. And now, that's huge because now you have a 4-game series coming up against Arizona. So you don't have to worry. It's like those guys might as well have gotten a day off. So, and you won. So it's a very good situation. Wicks has been very solid. And, there's 2 ways to look at those situations. And a group thread I'm on was arguing about it. It was like, one was like, hey, this is so great. They brought these guys up at the right time. Or it's like, hey, why didn't they bring these guys up earlier? And it's like, my take on that is like, hey, man, they're playing really well and have been playing really well for a while. I'm going to give everybody credit. And I'm going to give Ross credit too, because I don't think we realized how brutal of a pen situation this was in terms of fatigue the last couple of weeks. And I think Ross is doing a decent job navigating it. He hasn't. The Cubs have a fine record since Friday night, and he has not used Adbert Owsley 1 time. Yeah,
no, it's that part of it is definitely notable.
Yeah.
And I think
I got allergies.
There is some credit that's due there for sure.
Looks like it's about to pour here, by the way.
Same here. And Alexander Canario made his major league debut as well. Got to a 3-2 count, struck out swinging in the bottom of the 8th. Suzuki, Bellinger, and Happ all had 2 hits. One of Bellinger's hits was his 24th home run. And Miguel Amaya also homered, which was his 5th of the season. Cubs did damage off the lefty Alex Wood early, which was nice to see.
He's not very good anymore.
He's not great, but it's good to see them make some adjustments against a lefty.
Yep.
Cubs are 33-14 since July 18th, which you said the other day on the live, 100-win pace, and it is. It's a 114 win pace. Cubs' actual pace right now is 88 wins.
Yeah, it's going to be
higher.
And
let's call it the drive to 90. Over these last 22 games, the Cubs would need to go 14-8 to win 90 games.
Which I think incredible. Which I think would win the division.
Yes, I think so too. 1.5 back of the division. That's less than a series.
2 out of 3.
You might do that by Sunday.
The Brewers lost 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh, and we swept a playoff contending team, which, but one thing I want to say is that, we talked a lot during the preseason and about stars and about how, well, who's the core and are these guys really good? and you're going to look up at the end of the year, and it's not a coincidence that you're going to probably be in the postseason, knock on wood, and you're going to have a guy that should win the Cy Young, if not finish top 2, a guy that's going to finish top 5 in MVP voting.
Absolutely.
Your middle infield is going to be sharing Gold Gloves, most likely, if not finishing top 2 in Horner's case, right? My point is that, stars are being stars and you're winning baseball games. That's how it works. That's why it gets so frustrating sometimes when guys don't deliver because, if you were to tell me before the year Cody Bellinger is going to finish top 5 in the MVP voting, I would have bought my playoff tickets in April.
Right. And the Cubs have contacted me about playoff tickets. I could make an investment in 2024 season tickets if I want tickets to playoffs next month. So, I'm thinking about that.
And it's not out of the question. No, I'm thinking about that too. I might treat myself.
Really?
Yeah, no, with all the work we've put in this year, if they're playing a home playoff game, I better get myself there.
We should go.
Yeah, you can miss me with that.
And listen, player, they're gonna you're knocking on wood, but they have a 92% chance now to make the playoffs. They're making the playoffs.
And I had a 92% chance by the age of 30 to have, a couple more friends, and I don't. So, you don't count on things like that. I'm not, and by the way, I'm not 30 yet, folks. I'm not even close. I was just, late 20s. Don't start doing that, okay? I'm 23.
We could. So, I'm ready to discuss, not on this episode, this is a tease, but sure. I get the playoff thing. The goals are going to be larger, fam.
Yeah.
Okay, they got the pieces to make a run. And let's get to something that you mentioned the other day, because it's increasingly likely that the Cubs and Brewers will get both first in the division and the first or second wild card.
Yeah. And the worst division in baseball. Rah, 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 rah.
And I hope that happens because I don't really want to see Cubs Brewers right after Cubs Brewers to close the year.
That'd be awkward.
And more importantly, a Cubs Dodgers NLDS instead of Cubs Braves. I think that's a better chance at extending the season. Whether it's Cubs Phillies or Cubs either against the Marlins, Giants, D-backs, or Reds in that first series. But I'm now trying to figure out ways to extend the magic. And winning this division does that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And my goal for the rest of the season is to now play a home playoff series out of 3, which is either
a good goal.
Number 1 wild card or winning that division. And I got to tell you, Matthew, I want that division.
I think so too.
I want those Brewers
to be wiped off the map.
Yeah. And it will be a little awkward if it does come down to that final weekend and then we play them again. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think both teams are going to be in a good enough spot where
it'd be annoying.
I think the Brewer. I think it's going to be. I think it's pretty clear right now. It's going to be either Cubs Brewers, then probably Phillies or Cubs Brewers, and then the other one. I just don't think. I don't see Arizona, Cincy, Miami, San Fran hopping the Brewers or you know what I mean? I just think it's going to be 1, 2, 3. The only way they play is if the Brewers win the division and then the Cubs are the 3rd wild card spot.
Yeah, it would take a pretty sizable regression for one of those teams, Cubs or Brewers, to go to the 3rd wild card spot.
Oh, do I want to beat that team? I want that division. Yeah, I think, and I'll say this. I'm going to say this right now on the air, and everybody can freeze frame it when I'm depressed. If they win this division, no matter what happens in the postseason, it is a smashing success. That's how I feel.
Absolutely.
If they win this division, they can lose to whoever, whenever. It'll still be disappointing, but it will not define the season. You hang up a banner this season after being 26-36, and that is a smashing success.
And outdoing all the preseason projections.
And you know how I feel about those.
Put that in.
Yeah, 0. Negative stock. Call my financial guy and take negative stock. Is that a thing?
I don't think we could do that.
Okay.
Coming up next, how about the next series? It's a team from the desert coming up north, Cubs Diamondbacks. Let's get to it next. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to the My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. The Cubs play the Diamondbacks at 6:40 p.m. Central Thursday, and you can listen to every pitch with the Cubs hometown broadcast on SiriusXM. On the SXM app, search Cubs or tune in to channel 844 and catch the Cubs all season long on SiriusXM. D-backs arrive at Wrigley Field Thursday for a 4-game series. That opener is at 6:40, followed by 3 straight 120 games this weekend. No starter yet on Thursday for the D-backs. It will be Javier Assad for the Cubs. The rest of the probables are as follows: Tyone and Gallen, Steele and Kelly, and Hendricks and Fat. Brandon Fat, PFAADT. Corbin Carroll left Wednesday's game with a wrist injury, status unknown. And related or unrelated to that, they are calling up top prospect Jordan Lawler for Thursday night's game. A split would be a acceptable outcome here, and I think there could be a path to 3 out of 4, especially with Steele on Saturday against Kelly.
Yeah, split's fine. Arizona's playing for their playoff life right now. You just don't want to have them win 3. I'm going to be booking a lot of meetings between Friday between about 1:20 and 4 p.m. with that matchup. But yeah, these 4 gamers, it's always big to get the first one. Set yourself up to then, if you just need to win 2 of the next 3. My guess is hopefully you'll go into the weekend, 1-1 and go from there. I mean, Arizona's an interesting team. I mean, if Carroll's hurt, I mean, that really changes a lot. I mean, I know maybe, like you said, they're bringing up this kid to replace him who I don't know anything about. But I do know, a good amount about Carroll. Christian Walker's got a lot of power. Ketel Marte's a good hitter. They got a very dynamic 1-2 punch with starting wise with Gallen and Kelly. You're going to see both of those. Good manager. Seawald, the closer they got, was from the Mariners at the deadline. But the Cubs are better than this team. That's a fact at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They're better. I think they have better players. I think they have a better team by a real margin. So they got to go out and produce. I'm very excited to watch Friday's game, though, in the sense, not from the sense that I think it could be good, but it's just really good to start practicing to get to face these ace guys, because that's who you face. That's who you face in the postseason. They were all right against Webb, all right against Burns, not great against Woodruff. Like, at some point, these are the guys you're going to be facing. So let's see what you got.
Yeah, the first one is important, especially if the D-backs go with a bullpen game.
Oh, not again.
Or promote someone for their major league debut. The Cubs got to be all over that. And,
what was so funny? Sorry to cut you off. Yeah. During Wednesday's, circus of pitchers, is if you didn't feel like you were in some sort of dream or institution or whatever you were in, because you just kept turning around and there was a new guy in there. Then the Giants brought in twins,
right?
Tyler Rogers and Trevor Rogers, and one's throwing righty, one's throwing lefty. Then you got another guy coming in. Then I thought I was being tested for something. And
then we almost thought that Brian Wilson was going to be out there. I believe you said Joe Nathan,
Juan Marichal. I mean, who knows who's coming in for these Giants?
Sim Lincecum,
Matt Cain, Barry Zito. It's Barry Zito. Remember when Matt Cain threw a perfecto?
Yeah, no, the Giants three championships in 6 years is no small feat.
Yeah, well, Bruce Bochy, you want to talk about a guy that can manage a club.
And let's see here. What do we think about Alzolai's next appearance? Do you think it will be Thursday night?
I don't know. Hopefully,
I guess it depends.
Hopefully, it's this weekend.
Depends on score, I guess. Yeah.
I think that I'll say it like this: the next time they have a save spot, I think you'll be out there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, that's what I think, and I also, didn't think Patrick Wisdom would play on Wednesday, and he did, and I didn't think I didn't think that Seiya Suzuki would be the best hitter on this team for now almost a month and a half, and he has been, and people, I don't know, so
Right. Well, and there's definitely some things to explore as we continue to move towards the end of the season. Number one is the offense just keeps popping off, and there's some numbers to say that this might be the best Cubs offense, or maybe the best Cubs team since, well, I don't want to say the year, and I'll have that for next week.
Well, it's a better offense that they had in 18, 19, and 20 with those core guys.
Well, there you go. Well, there you go. And I got the numbers to prove it. And
it is.
The other thing to go over is we have to address the lefty starting lineup, because if the Cubs face Clayton Kershaw in 30 days, is Patrick Wisdom really going to start at first? I mean, what are we doing?
Kershaw will run through that lineup.
I mean, come on.
No.
So I just wanted to get that off my system.
Hey, I said on the show it'd be nice to see Amaya get going with the way Gomes did. He hit a ball in the bleachers.
Yeah, no, that was good to see. So, all right, thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. We are here each and every weekday talking all things Cubs. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube as we make the push to 6,000 subs. And hit follow on Apple and Spotify as we make the push to the top 10 charts there. We're also streaming on XM. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. And you are now Locked On Cubs.